That is, until Ryan had united them with a new pen. A pen that didn't care if you went to a famous school. A pen that gave everyone a chance at a fairy tale. Now, Evans and Evans wore the same lion masks and hats and shirts and waved the cheap replicas of lion's mane. Others flashed the signs with the names of Tesserina and Hristo, newly minted stars in the woods. A gang of teenagers, good and evil, hooted as they lit stacks of the Camelot Courier on fire, the one taunting Agatha and her army. Nearby, a delegation from Budhafa sang a hymn to the lion, tossing roses at Ryan's window. Guards in Camelot's uniforms patrolled the road, keeping the mob from the carriage, and a fleet of maids in white dresses and bonnets handed out books of the tale of Sophie and Agatha, while the clown flapped them at Sophie, trying to get her attention. These snowy books seemed to glow under the black storm clouds, with the lettering outlined in rubies and gold. Sophie's eyes burst. Bewildered, she slid down her window and snatched one of someone's hands, quickly pushing the window back up. She gaped at the cover. The Tale of Sophie and Agatha, as told by Lion's Mane. Sophie flipped through and saw the entire fairy tale had been retold from Ryan's perspective, with beautifully drawn illustrations in blue and gold that resembled the work in the throne room. The short story book was scant in details, but offered the broad tale of a humble boy growing up in a small house in Frostwood with his brother Japheth, the two of them watching from afar as the legend of Agatha and Sophie spread. Despite his elegancy to good, Ryan always found himself rooting for Sophie, a girl he found bold and beautiful and clever, and against Agatha, a self-righteous know-it-all who had betrayed her best friend and taken her prince. But in the end, it was Agatha who had the happy ending, claiming the throne of Camelot with Sophie's prince, while Sophie resigned herself to a future alone. That is where everyone thought the story ended, including Ryan. Until three shadowy women came to his house in the night and told Ryan the truth, that he was the real heir to Arthur and the one true king, destined to rule the woods forever. And not only that, he had been right about Sophie. The women revealed that it was she who deserved to be Queen of Camelot, not Agatha. It was Sophie who deserved the prince. Only he was that prince, not Tedros. Agatha and Tedros, meanwhile, were fiendish usurpers who would bring shame to Arthur's kingdom and destroy the woods. It was up to Ryan, as the rightful king, to stop them. Ryan didn't believe any of this, but the women had more to tell. Soon the day would come when Ryan must leave his old life behind, they said. On that day, the sword would return to a stone, waiting for the one true king to free it. And he was the one true king. How could any of this be real? Ryan thought. But just as the women promised, the day arrived when Excalibur returned to the stone. Ryan couldn't rest until he knew if it was true, if he was really King Arthur's son, if he was the righteous ending to Sophie's story instead of Agatha or Tedros, if Excalibur had returned to the stone because of him. From there, the story proceeded as Sophie had lived through it, but reflected and distorted. Ryan as the lion saving kingdoms from a deadly snake. Tedros jealously growing towards the lion. Agatha's jealousy growing towards Sophie. Sophie accepting Ryan's wing, uniting evil and good. Ryan freeing the sword from the stone. And now Sophie was on the last page, gazing at a painting of Tedros and Agatha beheaded bloodily as Sophie kissed Ryan, the two of them in their wedding clothes as lion's mane glowed like a star above their heads. The end. Sophie's heartbeat jaggled, her mouth dry. She didn't know what was real about Ryan's story and what was lies. Everything had been twisted and spun, even the parts of her own tale, until she barely recognized it herself. If the people of the woods were reading this, then any last sympathies for Tedros and Agatha would be gone, along with any hope of convincing them they crowned the wrong king.